show a picture of this orange juice we got. It was $7.88, and it looked like a double shot. Like it was so small. It was literally like this big. $7.88. 2 breakfast burritos. I got a nice vanilla latte. My wife got the orange juice. It was almost 50 bucks. It was almost $50. And you look at this. And they're like, this is where it was, where the restaurant is, but they're closed now. But it was just urine. It was absolutely disgusting all up top there. And so you see what's happening to American cities. What I believe is going to be unfolding is we're going to see this.
That flashing is gonna give me fucking seizures. How do you turn the flashing off? Cotter, are you here? I don't know. I guess the chat should be open on the 7 people over there on YouTube. I thought I'd just load this. Man, that's. I wonder how you can turn that off. Since maybe here, me display. Reduced animation. There we go. God, you're gonna give people fucking epileptic fits. All right. So anyway, this is the Halvening event countdown clock. One of our members, Cotter, shared on the site. If anybody's watching this in the public. Here's the 4-hour Bitcoin price. And if I understand correctly, this Halvening event's coming up pretty shortly here. So I thought I'd just throw this feed up, make it public. What the hell? We can talk maybe a little bit about the stuff that we talk about at TRI. Anyway, I don't know whether my microphone's plugged. I probably don't have the right microphone on. I don't even know if you can hear me or not. Yeah, I might just be totally mute. Wonder if you can hear me now. Where's the test, test, test? All right, yeah, there's my microphone. Should be interesting to tax this thing hard and see if I can make the computer go crazy. Eddie says, all good B. Hey, Eddie. Hope you're doing well. I don't know whether I can shrink this down anymore. Average block, 9 minutes, 47 seconds. Halvening countdown, 2 hours. Tick, tick, tick. I have no idea what any of this means. Well, I sort of do. No, maybe. I don't know whether we need even this stuff. Anyway, having fun. I don't know, maybe what I'll do is I'll put maybe that like that. That like that. Maybe that's a better way to do it. Boom, in your face. Go down to maybe a 30-minute chart. There you go. So what's gonna happen here? Dun dun dun. What does it say here? 2 hours. So 2 hours would be 4 bars, right? 4 30-minute bars. One, two, three, four. Oh yeah, look at that. So move it down to 9 minute. Here we go. Almost almost looks like a bullish continuation pattern, eh? So something like there to there. 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 Yeah, that looks pretty good. Pretty cliche. Can't tell where the highest high is. Something like that. All right, well, that makes sense. And we're stuck in that range. Actually, interesting how we're really fighting right at that. That's probably the key trend line, just off that tight little double tops there. So, big fundamental event. We got 1 kilo, 2 kilos. And interesting how oh yeah, I didn't realize the next door neighbors are renovating. So I might just have to go on mute if they start drilling, and I'll turn the mute off when they're done. I mean, it's quite remarkable living in this communist utopia called China. Anyway, I don't think it's well. Anyway, it is what it is, right? Ah, look at that's fighting with me. Anyway, it does look like that's some sort of cycle pivot. Look how we kind of, you could almost say we kind of went like here, there, to there, to there. And then I think he went like there, to there, to there. Now we're coming up here. That's sort of what the price action looks like, eh? Let's keep it as simple as possible. So if you're a bull, you really would like to see us break through that trend line and then farm some sort of base here, especially on the other side of the fundamental event. That would make sense. That would be, I think, acceptable. The question is, how high does this go? I mean, if we spike all the way up to this trend line, then unfortunately, I think you missed the move. If the move could come in anywhere below that 50% level, we get a nice pullback, right? Maybe even tag this trend line from the other side. That would probably set up a really nice buy. So why don't we just leave that on there and see what happens. Boom. You would really like to see on this event just a nice blast off through this market structure peak here, just sort of to confirm the bull. Interesting to see whether we get that rally, because it looks to me like the market wants to head up here. Well, this is only gonna, like, this is a 9-minute chart. So what did we say? We had how many bars? In this case, we got 44 9-minute bars. And that's assuming this time is right. 1 hour and 40 minutes now. Hell, the blocks might be accelerating here, eh? That would be 1 hour and 40 minutes. How many 9-minute bars would that be? Oh man, you're gonna make my life difficult. Let's go. Geez, what's 140? Let's I guess about 10-minute bars would be the best, eh? And I don't know, does anybody hear me? Am I just talking to myself? I guess I am sort of just talking to myself. Glad to be on the event with community. Hey, JB. Forest Real Estate Group. Hello, everyone. Eddie, take care, Brian, and hope to see you soon. All right, well, that's cool. Hey, Eddie. Came here to say hello and going for dinner. Yeah, well, Eddie's living the good life. I will be back next week. All right. You know, I guess you're not supposed to read up. You're supposed to read down. Oh, Eddie's in Spain. Geez, I bet you Eddie's living the good life now. Eddie's the guy who actually bought that bottom of the market and did exactly what you're supposed to do. So he should be just rolling in the dough right now. And I think he's doing okay. I don't think Eddie's got anything to worry about. So enjoy dinner and have some caviar on me, okay? Put it on my tab. Let's see. So now I changed it to 10 minutes and an hour and 37. Of course, now it's an odd number again. But an hour and 40 minutes would have been what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 bars, right? So 9 bars. Oh, pretty close. Actually, now we're under 10 bars. I suppose it goes something like that. I guess this changes as we go here, right? I guess it must. I suppose if you wanted to front run this, you could even take that inverted head and shoulders, but that's probably a bit aggressive. Yeah, like that, something around that. 9, 10-minute bars, that would be 130. Yeah, maybe. Let's go down to the 5-minute. Well, at least we can get a round number. 36. So that's 5 is 20. So 31. No, that's not right. Oh, 10. 6. 12. Yeah, 12, 13. So yeah, that's awfully small font. There we go. All right. So actually, wow, look at that. It's pretty close. Oh, it's not bad. So there you go. I guess this thing's supposed to happen right around 5 o'clock my time. That's about an hour and a half, eh? An hour and a half. So I don't know. Can you do like YouTube free music? No copyright? Royalty free music? You guys hear that on YouTube? like this, just do TA and just have the background music playing. If anything, I think that's better value. Well, the whole rally thesis is off the table. Sell the rumor, buy the news? That for real? doing some damage here. There's a huge tail to be eaten. I really want to do some damage. All right, 1 hour to go. It's interesting to see how it looked like we were going to try and put in some sort of floor here. That low was taken out. Now it kind of looks like an inverted head and shoulders, eh? So, hope you guys are enjoying the musical background. I kind of like this, just doing TA with the music in the background. That'd be kind of fun. So, just wondering whether we can get some sort of buy set up here. I do like the market working its way up back up to this trend line up top here. Can you guys hear me talking now? Yeah, we got 15 people. Let's see what you guys are saying over there on YouTube. Ubis Tubis. You know what I wanted to try and do was put my logo, because I think it's a good advertising. Just put the little logo here. Oh yeah, there's that one. But then this one wouldn't work. I tried to put it here, and I don't know what happened. Let's put it up here. Paste. Oh yeah. So if we continue our dumps, if we continue the dump, I think price action is just going to follow this wedge here. If this is an inverted head and shoulders, then it looks like our 25 level is going to be our neckline. And then we should get a nice W that forms over here. That would set up the line. But I think it's important to note that, and I think you all know, I guess if I just go to the 4-hour chart, I like the idea of being short up the top here. So this would be nothing more than a counter trend trade into that topping area at best. I'm asking whether we have like trend continuation. This is some sort of bot that takes us up top. Actually, kind of a sloppy bottom, but we could just add what a fog and bomb is, just in case we do get some sort of crazy pop here. So that takes us right up into that top. And that's interesting, because that would blow out this position because the stop's at scratch right now. Which, you know, wouldn't really be out of line there. We get some serious volatility in here. So if this does play to the bull side, we're going to rally up against this trend line. It'll be interesting to see whether that's short. I wonder what the best thing to do is if the bot does fire. Do we just kill this and go long? We do have the bullet. You know, this is a tough one because this really technically is a megaphone. So I don't know whether we can apply the ICT guys principles market structure to a megaphone. I mean, I kind of like the idea that lower highs and lower lows, this should be like that ICT guys market structure break. Because that was a new sell signal on that move there, right? So if that's the case, it broke, then we should see some sort of buy setup come in here around 61.8 of this range. That's down in here. So that means this ABCD needs to play itself out. So we get like an alt ABCD. So that's going to put us below this bigger trend line. Which I don't know. This trend line goes back quite a ways. look to me like the market does respect that to a certain degree. 1 hour to go. 1 hour to go. Tick, 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 tick. So I'm on a 9-minute chart. We did just make a new low off of this 9-minute chart, which means that at best you gotta let this candle finish. But I could see a little fractal bottom come in here, inside bar, your bull-bear battle lines. And actually, isn't that interesting? Look how 25 level is this sort of railroad tracks top right there. You don't actually really want to see that because that means the fractal is going to fire. There's almost like a bull flag. Alright, we go down to the 1 minute. Yeah, so there's the bull flag. And look how they left a gap right there, the bastards. So, it's probably saying it wants to get back up into these trendline resistance, which makes sense. There's that 25 level. So there's the prevailing low, very lower time frame trend line. And we're probably going to see some resistance up in here. There's the Halvening event, 58 minutes. Yeah, so that means this should be 58 bars, right? So no big euphoric blow off top. 50, 52. What does that say? 58? That's right there. Yeah, this looks like it's a little bit off. 58. So for this to be a bot, we gotta see, really, we gotta see a W on the other side of this trend line, absolutely. That would be front running the bot, eh? But the higher time frame, we really want to see a W over here. So I think the best case scenario, if you're a bull, is shoulder, maybe this is shoulder, neckline, somewhere in here. Market structure on the other side of here and go. Something like that. Last time I did that whole forecast that way, you saw how that didn't work. So, strong opinions loosely held. Alright, let's see what you guys over on YouTube are saying. I gotta go get my glasses. I'll be back in a second. Oh, everything's magnified. Ah! Soda bar. Sprinkles. Who's old enough to know what that reference is? Can you guys hear me over on YouTube? Someone let me know if he turns the music off. I will? You don't like the music? Oh, you guys are killing me. Oh, music's too loud? You can't hear me? That's too bad. I kind of thought the music was nice. Huh. Six, 6. Hey, Cotter. So it's still an hour to go. I guess the technical objective of this bearish plot, which really didn't set up well. Pretty, actually, look at that. Actually, a pretty nice fail there. that's actually not bad. Isn't that ironic? What number is this? 832, yeah. So technical objective is 62,881. With blow off moves down to 62 and 61. So that's what's working right now. Pump chaser zone is 51.8K. Fully expected to retrace to that level at least. Especially NVDA is crumbling like house's cards. Yeah, isn't that remarkable? I think they're going to take the whole damn stock market rally back. I think this whole thing that we saw over the past 6 months is just fluff. It's just so sad. So are the futures trading? Yeah, the futures are actually stuck. It'd be interesting to see where these things gap open tomorrow. Or when the next trade. Stock market did not finish happy at all. That's going to be an ugly weekly failure, right? Woo-wee! Big red candles. Man, I mean, this eclipse shit is so freaky. Incredible. And this doesn't come in until the end of June. Oh my goodness. I noticed my the Communist Bank of Canada. One of the communist banks of Canada, I should say, still looks like shit. Be interesting. I don't think they can. But wow, everything's just coiled here. But ooh-wee, look at that. That did not look good. I saw an article today that Canadians were just selling. Everybody in the world is selling anything that's Canada related. Sell, 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 sell. Oh, oops. Coins. Isn't that funny? Didn't even see that. But wow, Wall Street got exercised a lot of stock. So we did this analysis in the lounge. We dipped down into Collins zone. If anything, yeah, I could see further dips down into here, you know. Rally back to 38.2, but that's, yeah, that's off of this. So it just bounced right into the dump chaser zone. I think you could actually go like this. Pump chaser to dump chaser. Probably works its way back up here, I bet, into these trend lines. Well, we'll see. Solana putting up a hell of a fight at what I would say is a pretty good technical level. I don't see anything wrong with that, you know. Aye! What are you saying over there on YouTube? Hit the like button, subscribe. Bitcoin tastes great. Oh, is Bitcoin dumping? What's happening? Ironically enough, on the daily chart, it's just I don't know. Do you even call that a doji? It's not really a doji. I don't know. It's just sitting there. Set up a really pretty fractal. Look how pretty that fractal is. Right off that freaking bot level. Right against that trend line. Damn, that would have been a sick trade. I just got his with a commercial. Hit. Oh. Oh, really? I have this set up with commercials? That's hilarious. Oh, it's about bloody time I make some money at this, Clatter. You cheapy bastard. You're making money hand over fist. This thing's only valued by how much you have to pay for it, right? I guess Google decided it was time everybody got hit with a commercial. That's hilarious. For a crypto game for Russians. So that's one thing about Google. I don't think that they're, everybody's money smells the same to Google. I don't think this market's going to be able to get through these trend lines, See what momentum looks like. If anything, this is a good example of when this damn thing wedges, all hell can break loose. Alright, so you go like that. And you go like that. I don't know whether I could use that or not. Something along those lines. And wow, look at that insane volatility. Wow. Whenever I see a MACD do that coil, oh boy, look out. And that's what this was. What's our stopwatch say? 47 minutes. Well, momentum's starting to run out of steam here. Was a nice bounce. It's just off the 1 minute, of course. Looks like a new little fractal top came in. Nice breakdown. Bearish engulfing bar. Looks to me like we're going to come back down and fill this gap in here. "46 minutes. All right, what are you guys saying there? Really would be good to get off Google Tube sometime. I have trimmed most of it out of my daily diet. Okay. Nulian Pazak says, I'm long. 13x. Right on. What's that? 13 times leverage? 13. What do they say for 1,000, right? That's K, right? Doge to the moon? Soon? Get along, little Doji. I don't know. I actually haven't looked at the alts in a bit. I mean, no offense, but it's been pretty lean times there. Doge. I would say Doge, big hurry up and do nothing. This will be a buy when this thing can W on the other side of this trend line. I don't know where the hell that is. It kind of looks like a head and shoulders, although it's a really cockeyed neckline. So this probably needs a rally back up top here. The moon talk? I don't think so. As long as this, I mean, I'd like to see this thing go and firm up, and as long as it's below this trend line here, there's no bull market anymore here. So you just gotta cool your jets. It's gonna take a while. Let's see what we got here. Where's our... Ooh, hello. Nice cute little bull flag trying to form now. Bull flag. So this is for all you degens. This would be like trading with Nebraska. All those Mountain Man and Michael Patak. Actually, that is Nebraska. You know him. Anyway. Johnny Hoagland and Eddie. I haven't talked to Eddie in a while. I think he's still angry at me. Anyway, trading in the futures pits. So what do I want to do here? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's not bad. There. And boosh. Oh, it's always backwards. Yeah. Wow, look at that. Totally telegraphed. Yeah, you got a nice little double bottom there through the 50 line. Looks like even on RSI. Oh no, not through the 50. Well, yeah, sort of. Sloppy, but it is pointing out. And where we got here? There it is there. And we have a total of 43 minutes. There's 43. Oh, did it just get shrunk down? Eddie is in Spain, back next week. Thanks, Brian. Wake me up when September ends. Yeah, I know. Hey, falling in the price gap here. Momentum? Yeah, big yuck. Nah. No volume. I just think it totally drifted out of direction. So remember we said latest signal was to go short off of this fractal failure. I think I actually saw some of you even mention that. It's actually a pretty nice fractal. Right off that trend line. I love when I see that happen. Move stop to scratch at 63,856. Move stop to trailing 63,544. And the market absolutely puked out but just missed the actual target 62,881. Dead cat bounce, boing. Maybe if you get some new bearish market structure, which of course would break this little bot. Maybe you start locking in the profits off of that short. I would say at the absolute worst right now, you have your stop at scratch. But if this thing did go all the way crazy, all the way right back up to the neckline, that probably says that this bearish setup's probably over. Which makes sense. So, big fight here. Does this turn into a bullish bot, which does nothing more than just take us right back up into trendline resistance, which would be logical, I think. I like the idea of a push up top here. And then we find out right on this trend line if this thing's really a bull. You know, the fight will be off of that going forward. Is that how the bulls win? Or the bears win? And it'd probably be based just purely off of market structure. M's and W's. That'd be funny if I'd looked down, my microphone was off the whole time. Right. 40 minutes. I'm gonna put myself on mute. There's a bit. Oh, it looks like the Bulls are in control for the time being. Oops. 38 minutes. Some clowns and hammering away. I'm gonna put myself on mute. This is where it pays to not have an opinion and just trade setups. Look at that, eh? Damn. Look at that thing just grinding its way higher. My hunch is that there's probably just like not many sellers in the market right now. The path of least resistance is up. Oh, look at that. God, you love when you see that. That's so beautiful. Damn. Isn't that cool when you see that? Does that mean anything to any of you guys? Please turn that music off. Why do you guys don't like the music? What the fuck? Ah, look at that. And the target's hit. Son of a bitch. That is so cool. God damn, that's incredible. So, you know, if you traded this setup, you saw the W, you saw the W inside the W. You even got a nice Wyckoff check. Look at that. I mean, God, you want to talk about like the absolute killer trade level? All right, that's this right here. God, this, and really the whole point why I do this stuff publicly is I really want you all to learn. I mean, look at that. If you just, in fact, I know a lot of times I see price like will come into the wick. And right in there, and you know, look how close. Do you call that gap filled? You know, if you just had your order just sitting in the middle of that gap, would you have gotten your fill? And would that not have been like the total badass trader's trade right in there? I think so. What's probably also cool too is you could like done a fib over this range, and I bet that's like Mr. Reload Zone in there. In fact, well, yeah, let's just leave it at that. There, and boom. Oh, oh, he wouldn't have been filled though. So that's interesting. But there's Mountain Man sitting right there. Son of a gun. Wonder, this is US Dion stamp. I mean, this is more probably, actually, I don't even know if I have these numbers correct here. Interesting why they won't lock in. Where is that? That's right there. Oh, wow. I wonder if there was just like a mountain, no pun intended, a mountain of buy orders right in there. And price went like right down into there to like ate the top of the iceberg and then just launched out of there. That's such a good lesson. You know, this is where I suppose you had like, I mean, technically you could argue that this gap really actually was here. In fact, I had this conversation with somebody just here today. Or maybe it was yesterday. I mean, that's actually the start of the gap all the way down there. And this is why sometimes it's handy to look at this from a bar chart. so you can really see the gap. You know, some like technical aficionados would say, and actually this is kind of where bar charts I think actually are better than candlesticks. So like a bar chart would say that, you know, technically that's the actual hole on the chart. But candlestick people, they would prefer to see that this actual whole body here is eaten. Take your pick. Really, the point here is that's gold. You know that Great Dalmoody, right? Add that to your reference book. I'm sure you probably already have it. But I don't know whether, you know, through all our free content, whether we talk about the difference between candlesticks and bar charts. And in this case, I think actually the bar chart identified the gap better. So I think there were just so many orders in this area. Couldn't even get down to Mountain Man. That's fascinating. Anyway, I think that was your trader's trade level right there. Would have been tough. Then just this stupid old bot, right? That gets you long here and anywhere all through here, really. And look at that, you have your AOC. Like, Jesus, this is why you do AOCO orders. God, you could teach a whole course just off of this one little 1 minute chart, man. This is incredible. So there's the bot level, and geez, now that's a decade ago, but I used to trade off of the T4, Cunningham Trading Systems. In the East, it was really easy to do AOC orders. I don't know whether, you know, the platforms that I've been trading off of lately, yeah, they just don't hold a candle to the T4, which is such a shame. But anyway, you have your AOCO, automatically order cancels order, just sitting there. And this move here, if this was a futures contract, you would be guaranteed a fill if you could actually show them a print higher than your price. And look at that. In hindsight, you would look like a total boss. Isn't that incredible? That is super cool. A lot of really good learning material there, folks. Interesting how we tried to get into this gap up top here. And there was just too much selling. There's obviously a very motivated seller right off of this level here. It's kind of cool when you identify that. And I suppose if we think institutional fingerprints, right? You know, that clearly, you know, the bar that made a low plus preceding bar and that kind of thing. So this clearly was a defend area, and you can see how it played again. So I got a feeling that once we got up into this area here, whoever it was that took the shot off of this level and wanted to sort of square up their position, they got the opportunity to do that right in there. So that's what I think was going on. If you believe that this stuff is not completely mathematical driven, and it's just a bunch of traders messing around, which I hate to say, I think it is in the short term. We should be trading the futures, but the futures aren't open right now, are they? Let's see. Is this trading? I don't think it is. No, that's what, 1:59? So that's 2 o'clock my time, right? It's now 5 o'clock. This should open back up soon. Oh no, today's Friday, isn't it? Nope, so it'll be interesting to see where this thing has to open up on Sunday afternoon. Okay, so we got back to that trend line, and if you'd taken this bearish bot, do you walk away on the double bottom, triple bottom really here? Move stop to scratch, or move stop to trailing? Do you do that, or do you just still have your stop at scratch and then just say, yeah, let this play out, but I still want to be short? There's where trading is, you know, this is all about how you personally like to trade. You know, that was a huge dump. You know, if you had just like, you know, I remember years gone by, there was one trading system that I used that you could like trail your order. So your stop loss order. So if the market moved down, you'd say like trail it by, 10 ticks or something. And then you could literally watch on the DOM and on the chart, if you had it set up, you could literally watch your stop get pulled down as the market moves down. And I suppose you would have been blown out on this back and forth right here. There's a million different ways to skin this cat. So, dude, that was poetic though. What just happened there? You know, I wonder if we have this recorded. That would be really cool to play back. You know, I gotta say, I was. What are we at here? We're at 29 minutes, so a half an hour until the big event. What is that? This is a 1 minute chart, so that's 29 bars. 20. Yeah, interesting. 29 bars? Did this get pushed back? It says 28 minutes now. Probably an easier way to do this. There's new one. So 28 minutes, so roughly there. So I think there was a cute little trade that fired there. We're now back into resistance. And if we can continuation trade, right, and take out these highs, then, actually, and this is what I find really cool about trading is that it doesn't really matter what time frame you're on. It's all the same shit. It's exactly identical. It's just so freaky. Especially if you have a nice like liquid asset like Bitcoin. Obviously with the shit coins, that's not the case. But, like the big futures contracts and things like Bitcoin, I'm exceedingly pleased to see that we sort of think I understand how the universe is built. In fact, actually, I was even showing somebody the other day how I think the universe is built. Who was it? I think it was Terry. Just trying to explain to him. Things like Tesla's obsession with the number 3. Everything's a triangle. I was showing somebody that the other day. Interesting now to see where this fib, right? Because we were kind of asking where reload zones will be now off of that range. So interesting, like if we do reload zone, and actually I think this was mentioned on the YouTube page there a bit. Look how that gap now is lining up with Brian's favorite fib. That's fascinating, eh? So we might even see this before the actual event. We'll see. Only time will tell. This is a fascinating anecdote of this trend line though, right? Super cool. Like, this isn't even drawn off of these points. It's drawn off of this double top right here. This little M right here is defining the entire market right now. Isn't that incredible? Wow, that's fascinating. Now you could actually start thinking about, so since this trade's gone now, we'll take that off the screen. 2.618 has not been hit here yet, folks. We could see a reversal and a pop right up the top here. I might argue that it kind of looks like we haven't really got a structural fail here yet, but I think the bull is sort of losing grip. And probably if you were like trailing stops, that probably would have been a good idea to hop off on whatever remaining longs you're in. Actually, this is a really good anecdote of the market walking down the trend line from the other side. Isn't that cool? All right, so I guess something like that. So this reload zone here is going to align with this 38.2 off of this bigger range, which doesn't surprise me. That happens a lot. So we could take this reload zone off, and then we'll just put on all of the fibs, and then you can get an idea off of that whether our bot sets up or not. There we go. So we've got at least 33% now. So if we bottom anywhere down in this area, down to 66, then, you know, we might be bottoming out here. And momentum? What's momentum tell us? That push higher, it was strong enough to bust any potential divergence. But you can see momentum basically rolled over hard after that bot target. Wonder how many pros were actually trading that damn ABC. Because really all that is a harmonic, right? Just AB equals CD. So harmonically, the market just ran out of gas right into that event. And you can also see this, there was a big buyer right in here. But then this move up top here was on total divergence. There was just no buyers. So really, you shouldn't get bullish again until this stuff starts looking bullish again. That looks ugly. If anything, you got to probably be happy if you are bullish of Bitcoin. I don't know. Are any of you bullish of Bitcoin? You know, we do have a pretty big bullish bot here trying to set up. So we'll see what happens following the event. But it is interesting to see how that little itty bitty bot took us back up into the topping area of this range. If anything, if you're a bull, what you really want to do is just have everything calm down. Just relax. Take a deep breath, right? Stop making lower highs and lower lows. 15 minutes, one 15-minute bar till the Halvening. I wonder what the 15-minute chart looks like. Pretty busy. So, oh, what a surprise! A doji! That's perfect. So, this is a 15-minute bar. Did that just jump down? Or were we just talking like it was 25 minutes or something like that? Is somebody ramping up the blockchain here? Is anybody else watching the feed here? Does anybody else have another countdown clock so we could have like 2 or 3 clocks? Bullish on Beamish streams. What? if you have a if you're on the website and you're in the lounge, I suppose there should. I don't know. Did we post this in the lounge? I don't know whether I did or not. There's the. What room is this? Members lounge. 15 minutes till the Halvening. I suppose it could have streamed on Discord. What are you shilling there, Cotter? You're putting, are you continually posting that same link? What are you doing, Slick? Oop. Weird stuff is happening. Anyway. Looks like Cotter wants us all to go and buy a cryptocurrency. Coinigy liked your post. Keep in mind, TRI will never really tell you what to buy or sell. If somebody has a question in the lounge, people will give opinions, but that's all they are, is opinions. Nobody's shilling anything at TRI. If anything, what we're trying to shill is for you to be a good investor. Keep your nose clean. You know what we're shilling? Let's see, I think I can show you it right here. Good old TRI PMA. It's this. This is, and it's not such a beautiful image. This is what we're shilling right here. Can't say that enough. In fact, I'll even retweet it here and I'll say, this is what we are shilling. If we are shilling anything. PMA for the win. Go fuck yourselves. Oh, did I say that on YouTube? Oh yeah, instantly demonetized. Yeah, you're dead. Suppose I shouldn't have said that, but I think I say in the warning somewhere that this is for adults. Kids aren't supposed to be watching this. Anyway, there you go. There's a shill for the YouTube feed and really the lounge. In fact, I'll even post in the lounge. Oh, I did that one. Isn't that weird? Copy link. Maybe I didn't copy the link. There we go. All right, so something just jumped. You guys are getting all excited. 7 minutes. 7 minutes. All right. So we came back down to 38.2 there. And notice this trend line. So we tagged our trend line from the other side, which is pretty normal. And because we are on the other side of that trend line, if I get a W here, then, you know, that actually sets up a bullish setup. So we could, in the short term, throw on bot levels. Let's see what we got. So we have done 33%. That means trend continuation traders. Boom. 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 There you go. So can we get a W that sets up here for this level? And all you botters, get your marching orders. So interesting how we've got a nice well-defined trend line that's been broken. We got one low. Really what this is saying, we got another W in here and rock and roll. That'll give us a pretty juicy upside target. That's up in the 65,000 area, we'll call it. I actually don't, I would rather it not just go blasting off here. Oh boy! Oh, did it just happen? Are we now done? Is that it? Do I get my money back? What happened? Yeah, interesting how the YouTube stopped too. Oh, there it is. It's back. Are we now halved? Is it official? I don't feel any different. Am I supposed to feel different? Hey, there you guys. I was wondering where you guys were. Digging. Some people said digging the music. Other people were like literally like insulting me to turn the music off. You wanted another block counter. Didn't take just big. What's that? Just fired like 10K. Sounds like you might have a cold, Brian. Hope you feel better soon. Woohoo! This time it's different. Coinigy. Smart asses. So, is this done? Are we official? That was funny, I gotta admit. That's gotta be Joe. Joe's got a good sense of humor. Well, there you go. So we broke the downtrend line on the short term. And I suppose now I think it's been official. Can somebody over on YouTube confirm? And I don't even know if anybody's even watching this. I know some of, I know Coinigy Guy. I think that's Joe. I don't know whether it's Joe or not. But is it official? Are we now officially halved? Suppose we should probably put the Twitter feed up. That might show. Hey, not much of a response, eh? Isn't that interesting? Oh, yeah, Brian, you just jinxed it. What do we got here? Did it just happen? I gotta have somebody else's tweet to confirm this. Bitcoin halvening. There we go. Halvening clock. Are we done? Wow, yeah, a lot of people are retweeting this. E-clocky piece. Bitcoin halvening has officially happened. Woohoo! Everybody says, go all in. Oh, but that's an M. What the fuck? We'll put this over here. Oh, and so what does this say? This says, oh, no, brave. Sorry, everyone. Okay, I thought it would give us like the clock for the next event, but nothing, eh? Okay, so I think isn't that weird? I thought I just tweeted that out. All right, so I just retweeted this person. So I don't know if that was the right thing to do or not, but it's been done. I think, and now I guess, what is it? 840,000 blocks till the next block. Is that how it works? And one. There you go. We are now done. All right, so just a quick technical overview, whatever it's worth. We had talked earlier about a bearish bot setting up off of quite an interesting fractal failure level at about 64,336, we'll call it. 64,344 is the actual sort of bot level. Market dumped hard. Counter trend rallied. I suppose the debate, from the sort of trading community was, did you trail your stops and get instantly stopped out on the reversal down here? Did you work, 3 high-low method kind of idea and move your stop down to this structural level, and when we reversed off of it, you'd get out? And then in a sort of cheeky manner, we had a little bit of a bullish bot set up that took us up into an interesting technical objective. And then we sort of paused and we sort of sat on the other side of the trend line as we waited for the halvening event to happen. So because we were on the other side of the trend line, we could technically think bullish if we got bullish market structure. And you can see, great analogy of why you just want to watch how price acts off this trend line. We might just M out and puke out and then, lose the trend line and keep heading lower. One might argue that the uptrend is tenuous at best. Off of actual structure, I think you can make the argument that's your very, very steep trend line. It would be whatever the lowest low is down in here. Hate having to try and do this on the fly. Yeah, that looks like the lowest low. So that trend line, and a very good analogy of uptrends often can turn into really great resistance zones. And the fractal failure off of this trend line right up here is a really telling tell. Actually, it's interesting. I didn't even talk about that as that was happening. I took the lines off because we were drawing new levels, but this was actually a bot trade objective. So it's fascinating. And we also talked how, this was the last sort of structural fail level. So if anybody actually did want to get short off of that structural failure level, that's what that counter trend rally lets you do. I did find it interesting through all this that we never hit that Foggenbaum level. I would have thought we should have hit that. So as we said, we ended up topping out, and we talked about how if you had taken this bot setup, the entry was basically off this level. It's too bad I took those studies away. And if you had still been in a little bit, I think this M here told you to just get out of the rest of your long. So as I said just a few minutes ago, the market worked its way back down to this trend line, counter trend rallied off of it. And if we think A, B, C, D, huge pattern up, then that sets up like the CD leg is this bot entry level right here. So interesting how the market bounced off of that trend line, which was also 38.2, right? You can see it's 33%. But 38.2 area off of that entire range, which would make sense, right? A bounce there would make sense. So then the question is, were we going to go and W out here and cause us to get bullish with W's on other sides of trend lines? And that's what I had sort of drawn here. And as you can see, that's just not the case. The W's just are not coming in here. So in that case, you just have to draw, redraw your fibs, drag your study down. And now, because of this structural fail level, I hate to say it, but we're starting to build a lot of trendline resistance in here. And really, the only way that this is going to get broken is if there's just a bucket load of buyers that come in on the buy side here. And I just don't know. I don't see it happening. It's interesting how this vertical line that we had noted for the Halvening event moved there. I'm not quite sure why that happened. So I need a timestamp for when that Halvening happened. And it wouldn't surprise me actually if this was, I seem to recall that it was like right in here, wasn't it? Does this have like a count up clock? Doesn't look like it, eh? Need to get an official timestamp for the Halvening. Does somebody actually have an official timestamp for the Halvening? That would be good information to remember, especially for our like time studies. In fact, this is the interesting thing about this one time study. This here is I'm not quite sure how this is going to play out. Literally, this is the low to the Halvening event. There we are. The cycle that I always thought that this was like was this 2016 cycle. And there is the Halvening event there. And I often wondered, I've said this publicly quite often, is, was this kind of like unnatural, if there is such a thing? Because there was an algorithm that was out of control through this move up. And I think it even caught a lot of the sort of OGers, the people that were like involved in Silk Road and stuff like that. I think it caught a lot of them off guard. They just didn't expect that. And I think it bankrupted Roly Poly Oly. Mount Gox fame. Mr. Carpellis. So, anyway, I think that this cycle looks a heck of a lot like this cycle. And after the Halvening event, it was quick and it was violent, but basically they brought price right back down to the previous shelf prior to the Halvening event orgy. So if we fast forward to today, what does that look like? Oh boy, here we go. So you can see bullish bots, they're just not here. We've got one more line in the sand for this thing to hold, and it makes sense, right? It's this original market structure floor. Now, this is a case where if you're a fan of that ICT guy, I think that this actually could represent sort of bullish market structure. So if we break this low, and actually, I think I even had this on the chart earlier. I think if you break that structural low, mind you, it's contained within a bearish structure. So I don't know. This is a tough one. But I think if you break this structural low, it's going to do a lot of technical damage to the chart. Probably also say too, you know, like we've got these valid trend lines working here now. I think I said this a second ago. It's going to take a mountain of buying here to break all this bearishness now. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Interesting how we're now back. Actually, wow, this is such a great analogy of this concept. So our rule about trend lines is you don't want to really get too bullish until you see a W on the other side of the trend line. And, you know, this is a trap. Even this is potentially a trap because it's just a V bottom. And look how they just, you know, breaking your hearts, breaking your hearts, breaking your hearts. So, and also too, really interesting fight going on here right at this trend line. So, in fact, you know what this kind of looks like? This is going to be an interesting battle here over the next probably hour or so. Do we do something crazy like a big old head and shoulders? Oops, what have I done here? Yeah, that's a mess. I think that's like that, and like that, and like that. No, that's wrong. Let's start over. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, the bulls are fighting back. So, actually, I do like this, right? So if they break this M top, that's that kind of market structural level. Probably going to bang into a bunch of resistance against this trend line here. And then maybe we get our consolidation that could set up some sort of buy. Oh, interesting. Very bullish. There we go. Is the volume confirmed by volume? Ooh, nice momentum. That's good to see. Right off a V bottom here. Actually, this might pretend to a higher time frame move here. Somebody's coming in on the buy side here. What kind of volume are we doing here? Somebody's bought a grand total of nine Bitcoins. 9 freaking Bitcoins. Holy shit. Just kidding. There it is. 9 Bitcoins. This is off a stamp. Maybe the futures contracts are rocketing it. There was 90. What's that? 55? A little bit of a divergence. You don't like to see that. That was off of this move here. So boom, boom, making a higher high, but not a higher high in volume. That's a little suspicious. All right, so wow, now that's, you know, this is noteworthy. V bottom blasted off the top here. I guess we don't need this open anymore. Interesting to see what the comments are here about the happening. See how people are interpreting this. Nice W. That's good to see. They've broken this this bearish bend here. If anything, I don't mind the idea that well, yeah, I think on balance, this bearish buy, you probably should have been stopped out there on that move. Let's see what we have here. We have a really big, or not really big, you know, off of like probably 9 minute. This bigger bot. Remember we talked, actually, you know what this looks like now? I think actually you can make the argument this little guy here is what this looks like now. So we can go, yeah, let's put that off of that high there. That guy can go down there. That guy goes there. Okay, goes there, 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 something like that. So let's see whether we can get a rally back up to this higher time frame bot. And now you can start to see we got one low, we got two lows. We got a nice W over here. We might have something to work with. All right. So the lower time frame bot actually wants to take us all the way right up to that neckline. So had you had the balls just to pull the trigger on that violent reversal, I mean, you know, I don't think many of us would, but I think just respecting what's happening here price action wise, they've cleaned out a lot of that bearishness from sort of setting up into that event. Probably the way that I would interpret this. Don't really like how this shoulder is lower than that shoulder. I think that breaks the sacred inverted head and shoulders rules. So I don't think that that's an inverted head and shoulders. So I'm going to remove that thesis. So the original fractal's holding in. This trend line off of that, and this is such a great analogy. This one trend line right here, off of this original M top, way up top there. Let's focus in and make sure it's exactly right. Oh, it looks like it's off a bit. All right. This is a good lesson in why you have to be like meticulous about this stuff. It'll drive you crazy, but you really have to be. See, look how off that is. That's actually not accurate. And now I could even like lock that into place. And lock that into place. And the irony of it all is if we went down to like a tick chart, it would probably even look different than that. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so there's that trend line off the top. Wow, what a trend line. So the market came up into that area. It actually challenged the top. Look how it challenged it and just got rejected right off it hard. So now we're actually playing with this original market structure top there. Fascinating. So since we didn't have three higher lows, there really wasn't a hell of a lot for us to do here. Move stop to scratch was hit. Move stop to trailing was hit. So if you had the balls just to pull that, you know, 3-bar fractal buy level, but that would have been like fucking tough as nails. You probably should be out of that. Now it's working its way back down. I would almost say too now, if we do actually come back down to this 25 level, you better have gotten out of this because it might just come right back down to the bottom. We'll probably take this. This forecast actually was, we're looking for this thing to pull back here all the way into that window there. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Actually, why don't we keep that? But just make it. Oh, interesting. I'm looking forward to failure. Whoa, interesting fight. So this trend line, that original M top trend line, damn, that is accurate. So I'm looking for the market just to continue to respect that. And I actually drew this on before we even got the video going. Just said W on the other side of this trend line is your buy signal. I still think that. I actually think that's not bad wisdom here. So right now, here, why don't we even make this a little bit bigger? Seems to be so significant. There we go. So that's what I think is dominating right now. Would be interesting to try and get almost like a cycle feel for this. You know, I was so impressed with did anybody over there on YouTube actually get a timestamp for when this happened? Oh wow. Is the YouTube page behind quite a bit? No. There's 20 people watching. That'd be funny if the microphone was off the whole time. There's going to be a lot of money action to get all of the money from the people who try to act cute. All right. If we break up, what's your next stop for a higher time frame? Not 1 minute. All right, how about 3 minute? You want to up the ante? All right, 9 minute. Hey, there we go. That's probably a chart that you can work with. So I'd be looking, if we do consolidate and break higher, to go long on a nice structural bottom through, what does that say? 64,491. Let's call it 64,500. That makes sense. Nice psychological number there. With a price objective of 68.8, 68.9. It's pretty good money. That's about 15% on your money. It's pretty respectable. So that would be here to here. 7%. Nice try, Brian. So at 7% in like a few hours, that wouldn't be such bad work. But what the hell? I was assuming you were going to go 10x, right? Anyway, 10x leverage, I mean. So that would be my target. And then with a real orgy getting going here, the original conversation was, do we Foggenbaum off of this? Is this a structural bottom for Foggenbaums to actually work with? I don't know. That's a tough one. We didn't spend a hell of a lot of time below here. Interesting. You might even argue that's a Eve bottom and that's an atom. So an Eve atom, maybe. I don't know. And if that's the case, then, 2.618 should be traded to, which ultimately stops out the remaining short that we have on the books. That would imply, though, a pretty damn healthy rally. I don't know whether that's realistic here. This is the reload zone, but at the same time, too, this is a daily chart. I think this is our trading range. And I think if we get up into the previous structural fail levels, this candle body highs, these candle body highs for trade location, I could see a stab up into like these wicks right up here and release those bears. And then also too, there is the last M structure top failure. So I think there's probably going to be a bunch of sell orders. In fact, I would even argue that's probably a huge psychological level right there into that, huge fight on the charts into this wick here. But this wick ultimately gets eaten, and it's really, this is the battleground. And we like stab up into candle body highs. Anybody who wanted to get short off of that structural level, which was 67,482, that gives them the opportunity. And we could even make that. Let's go. And we'll say market structure level. Keep it simple. And we'll do this on the right. We'll even say daily. Whoops. Oh well. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that daily market structure. And really that should be off of 67,482. Okay, that looks good. And we'll go visual. Yeah. Well, I don't know whether I can make this. Here it is, sync globally. Hit save. That's stamped, so then that should pop on over here somewhere. This works. And I think that that's that level there. Yeah, off of there. Oh yeah, there you go. Daily market structure. So I think that there's going to be a major war right up in this area here. They'll take out these highs, but notice how that's an M top there. So this actually becomes your real battle point. So is it... I mean, I suppose you could get an absolute shooting star. Market just rocks higher into this trend line, into the bot level, into this, what is that? A higher time frame bot entry? Is that what we said that is? No. Yeah, that's up here. Yeah. And actually, probably if we want to look at this on like a 4-hour basis, although chart gets awfully hard to understand here. If this is some sort of big bullish consolidation and breakout, then here are our bot continuation trade levels. What we really want to do is keep an eye on where we ultimately bottom. So that's here, boom, boom, this huge bot, 33. So if we project that, that's what, it's kind of hard to see because this chart's really a lower time frame chart. But that's what this study is here. So, we'll have to drag it to whatever the lowest low is here. And you can see that higher time frame entry would have you go long 67. But this is going to take a lot of work. I mean, look how long this took to M out here. I would imagine it could probably take that just that long to just sort of consolidate and really set that trade up. So that's what this line is here, this blue line, or teal, whatever you want to call it. And actually, interestingly enough, right, so there's the bot target off of the lower time frames, looking for that stab up into that 68.8, and this is the higher time frame long entry. So probably what ends up happening is off like lower time frames, if this thing really gets rocking and rolling, right? And let's do this in a color you can see. All right, so if this really gets rocking and rolling, probably what happens here is, nice big powerful push up here. Everybody's rah bullish. Hey, Bitcoin. Do they go after these highs? But there is the most recent market structure top. So if you think like institutional fingerprints, all that, and that's the last sort of sell setup we had right up top there. So that's where the scratch is this debate here is, does this top hold? And if it can't hold, then I want out of this short. Yeah. Looking at this, I think you're going to see a ton of resistance come in at the bot exit level, A, B, C, D off of the lower time frames. It's also going to come in, it looks like there's a little price gap right up in this area right here. It's going to come into the original market structure top, so then you can think institutional fingerprint, all that kind of stuff. Somebody put a top in the market up here. Do they come back and put that top back in? Tough to say. And then, of course, we've got this trend line, right? And this trend line is based off of market structure. This is a really, really good example where sometimes trend line support can actually turn into resistance, and you get like a rally right up into that trend line, and it just gets bitch slapped right off of it. So I don't know. I'm comfortable to stay in this short here off the higher time frames. And that sort of is a conversation about what I kind of think is going on here with regard to the whole shenanigans. And that is that I think this is a repeat of the 15-16 cycle. And what I would actually expect right now is for Bitcoin just to quiet down. And now that we've actually gone through the halvening event, I think we got about 2.5 weeks of us just chilling. And I think the altcoins could have a lot of fun in this window. And then, I don't know, something's going to happen in about a couple weeks that's going to rock this market. And this is just basically, like I said, a repeat of what happened in the 15-16 cycle. This will shake the confidence of the market, but ironically enough, the consolidation following that event, which really does nothing more than bring price right back into an original support level, the consolidation following that actually sets up the buy, right? Because you could make the argument that, I suppose, off of this chart, that, you know, that ICT guy, I see his concept around a lot. So if you sort of think of this as bearish market structure, that was a failure there. So to reverse this, you know, you can see the M's, right? You know, M's and W's and all that talk. I suppose you could argue there was another one here which set up a buy setup, which makes sense. I see this a lot now. I see it almost everywhere. I swear I see it in my sleep. But I think you could make the argument that there was the buy setup following this market structure break. Now, did the market close up here? Well, that's a debatable, tough one, whatever. All I'm going to say is I remember going through this, and I remember when that event happened, and I considered that the buy setup for this entire bull market. Then the Halvening event comes, and then that sort of sets the stage for what the coming bull market's going to kind of look like. Because once the Halvening event happens, then you can start drawing extensions and chaos theory and time fib studies, and you can kind of get an idea of where the next cycle peak's going to come and what kind of price to expect. Yeah, maybe we'll talk about that in a bit. I don't know. It's weird how we only get like 20-25 viewers of this. I suppose everybody else is doing other things on a Friday night. So would there be a level on the Bitcoin chart that would kind of look like this? And if we sort of fast forward back to today, I think that consolidation is basically, and I was debating, is it this consolidation window? Remember last summer, he goes, Mr. ETF goes, I want my ETF, I want my ETF, I want my ETF. And is that the consolidation window? Maybe there's a better chart to show you. Tough to say. Maybe that one. Yeah, I guess this would be here. So, you know, normal Halvening event, we should trade back to the 50% level. So I don't think that actually Mr. ETF lows. I don't think that that's it. You know, here was the ETF event. My hunch is they probably don't want these ETFs to go below this ETF event. So I could see the price slams into things like 30 SMA. Notice how well the 13 EMA did its job like a boss. But, you know, in a couple weeks now, you know, probably a month, maybe, you know, 2 or 3 bars down here, I could see us slip through the 13 EMA at that point and head down and come back down into that ETF window. And I can guarantee it without a shadow of a doubt, Wall Street brokers do not want to have to call their clients who bought this silly, what does John Hoagland call these damn things? Beach balls, right? John Hoagland does not want to, you know, not John Hoagland. No way he'd buy any of this damn stuff. But the typical Wall Street broker does not want to have to call up that client and tell him, hey, I got you to come in on this beach ball ETF, and now we're underwater. You know, you bought it on margin, so you're going to have to pony up some dough. What? I'm moving my account yesterday. So it is interesting how the Bitcoin ETF event here corresponds with this one trend line that I think actually defines support and resistance. Really good example of what was once resistance became support, then became resistance again, and now I think it actually is going to become support again. And also too, interesting, I do see this happen a lot. in technical analysis land, where old reload short zones actually end up becoming support zones for the coming bull market. So not a big surprise that this old reload short zone is actually our new Colin pump chaser zone. That happens a lot. And of course, so interesting how I put that market structure level off of the daily charts right on this chart right here. On the weekly chart, I actually could see us work our way if we do recapture that market structure level right there. I think we got a pretty good chance of rallying right back up to the top here of this trend line here. And also keep in mind, and I don't know whether I necessarily believe it, I think what happens here is we consolidate, then we dump violently into that final technical sort of event window, that 50% level of the 52-week range and the reload zone of the Colin pump chaser zone. Got to get your terminology right, Brian. 30 weekly SMA, old structural levels. No way the Wall Street brokers want to call up all these clients and tell them they're underwater on their Bitcoin ETF purchases, and that becomes our floor. Maybe we dip all the way down to 50%. If we do, candle body lows for trade location, I think that this would absolutely be an absolute gift trade. And interesting too, oh boy, is there some clown's birthday coming up that Bitcoin often likes to dump into. So, what I would probably say would be a good idea is maybe we should even synchronize that globally now. But synchronize this in the layout, and actually, it would have to be global to be able to see it totally universally. Maybe I'll do that globally as well. I can't even remember what my train of thought was, but I do like a nice little dump into here. Now, do we get that counter trend rally back up top? It is doable. It wouldn't shock me. I mean, look at the size of this candle here. I mean, we could technically, candle by wicks and tails like to be eaten, all that kind of talk. Oh yeah, what I was going to say earlier is the reason why I actually think that this is just a short-term correction, and it's a lot like that 2015-16 cycle. Notice that this really wasn't a very well-defined M top. And what that meant was that, okay, once this was done, we got to go right back up and test this high. And we went blasting through it. No bearish market structure here whatsoever. And I have a feeling that this is our future. If anything, folks, you should feel relieved, because once this technical sort of cleanup event happens, it's going to rock a lot of the noobs. And the new people that bought into Bitcoin, they're going to get crushed. And they always do. It's so cliche. But once this technical event happens, I mean, maybe you throw in some stink bids and see if you can buy against the floor here. And gee whiz, is this YouTube page updating? Doesn't even look like we're on the same time frame here. Oh yeah, there we go. Once this technical event happens, and this could get crazy. And I hate to say it, but Jesus, you might actually find that the US dollar here is very close to some sort of capitulation. And if anything, no, that's not the right word. A bullish capitulation, if that is such a thing, where the bears are just going to finally puke out into this big bullish harmonic. There's actually two harmonics here that are painting into this level, but once that's done, it's done. I'm actually starting to hear the stimulus drums being beaten. And why? Because all these politicians are just representatives of the crack wars. I mean, it's the brutal reality of this, people. Just get used to it. It is our 21st century capitalism. Going back to the days of Scrooge. So, if you own stock And keep in mind too, I also think I think that the 401k system is actually leveraged to the ability for the US government to continue borrowing at the ridiculous pace that it's doing. So I do believe that the banksters basically have said, we'll keep letting you lend, but all of your 401ks and Roth IRAs, all that kind of stuff, that is the collateral that you're using to borrow against. So if the stock market starts coming off appreciably, then all those 401ks and Roth IRAs and all that kind of fun stuff all start depreciating. And the banksters are going to have a much less desirous time lending against the depreciating capital base. So now the price in the equity market, and it's understandable that U.S. representative politician was taking advantage of the fact that the stock market just kept booming to new highs. And there's no way he's going to start talking about, printing more money and diluting his voter base, and in essence, sadly, also too, that sort of adds to the hyperinflation. There's no way he's going to do that in a majorly strong, upwardly pointing market. Did find it interesting that recently, and I think once again it's sort of flying under the radar. But Mr. Gates publicly had to acknowledge, his activity, and he was saying that he was selling almost all of his stock, and I think he did it actually like a month or two ago, back when I was touring around Central America. Actually, I guess that was over here kind of idea. And you remember in 2020, Bezos was famous for selling tons of Amazon stock right at the top of the market before that dump. So I actually think that this is pretty well coordinated. And now that the market is finally breaking and we're starting to see things come off in earnest, it's got a bit of momentum behind it. So this could go on for a bit. But what a big surprise that a Republican, kind of like a hypocrite, to be perfectly honest with you. But this is what happens. They always say power corrupts. And I think once people get into sort of leadership positions in the U.S. Congress, then all of a sudden, I even watched a guy talk about this yesterday. They get invited to like intelligence briefings, and every single day they get told how dire the situation is. And they're going to have to follow the banksters 1% plan, because if they don't, the banksters are going to stop lending, and then basically that's the end of the United States of America. I think that's basically how it goes, folks. So I might make the argument that we're now getting into a situation where the heat was really put on this guy. Look at the market's breaking now, so you're not going to be feeding into the hyperinflation. But for God's sakes, we need for you to let these votes go through so that the U.S. military-industrial complex can get a massive welfare check. Because that really, all of this funding for Ukraine and all of this war that happened in Israel, I hate to say it, but from this one technician's perspective, this just feels like a big stimulus check for the U.S. military-industrial complex. And they always say the best way to get out of an economic tough time is through war. It almost makes you think, was there some sort of backroom deal done with Mr. Putin to initiate this? Because keep in mind, all these World Economic Forum people, Putin's actually part of all of this. I mean, it's quite shocking how they're all basically playing from the same deck. I don't necessarily want to get into my country, and you all know my feelings, all 25 of you. So I don't want to open up that can of worms. But where am I going with all this? Why do you think Bitcoin is going up the way that it is? Is there some sort of theme to this story that kind of is the reason why we're all interested in this to begin with? as it stands right now, I think we're just range bound right now. So it's, anything, this isn't a bad time to talk about sort of the fundamentals. I call it, I would call it the fundamentals. Obviously with the Halvening event, that's definitely one side of it, cost of production, which is a huge side, don't get me wrong. But, what is sort of the demand equation about all this? Looks like those lower time frame setups that we were thinking about firing are just not materializing. I had a big pop there off the 3 minute up into move stop to scratch, or excuse me, move stop to trailing. Very difficult to take that trade. You know me, I like 3 higher lows. If anything, what this means off of this lower time frame is we can actually redraw our bot levels. So we can go, instead of that high, let's use this high. So we're off of this high, so 33 to 66, we're still fine there. And that means we can clone that and drag that up there. And bot trade. And is that background music acceptable, people? Can you just, because I wouldn't mind knowing for future reference, if I'm going to do these like live streams and just talk TA, just what would be a good volume level for the music to be? Well, I don't like the quiet though, because sometimes I'll just put myself on mute and, I want to go do something and I want something. And I do like, it actually makes me feel good to hear some music in the background versus it being totally dead quiet here. So I'm telling you, I do like the music. I would like to play it. The question is the volume okay? Okay, so bots, you can see we have one low here. It's going to take a bit of work. We've got this trend line to work with here now. Probably a good idea to get a W on the other side of that. And we still have our original trend line that I think is dominating the trade right now. So that's interesting. Might get a trend line, a W on the other side of this trend line. So we got a bunch of them working. I suppose this one's old now. Probably get rid of that. Yeah, I like that. That's a tough one. Well, so no real change to this story. Do we get a cute little lower time frame setup to try and sneak our way in? Haven't really got anything to work with just yet. All right, so back to our high time frame story. I actually do like that nice little dip. Just looking at a couple of the other markets, maybe actually was it? Well, the futures, I guess, because it's Friday. There's no point in looking at them. Oh yeah, I guess we were talking off the weekly chart. I do like a nice. If there's going to be a nice buying window on Bitcoin, I like it down here. I hate to say it, but I think I was even mentioning this earlier, and that's this sort of total market cap review that I did for the site. I think the bull market's over for now. That's just my hunch, which of course isn't a very popular thought. Kind of like here, we're going to need to see structural levels on other sides of trend lines, which basically came in here, for us to actually start getting like uber bullish again. I mean, I suppose you could have hunted this, W within W here and pulled the trigger here. I wouldn't fault you if you said, well, Brian, I really like this W, so I just went for it. I wouldn't fault you for that. I guess my hunch is that I don't think we're going to get a buy in this market until we actually start Wing on the other side of this trend line. And I wonder whether there's going to be a nice little short-term counter-trend rally up into this window. It could be. And if you see Bitcoin take off here, that wouldn't surprise me. I think right now, though, in the higher time frames, and this is a good example of Colin's pump chaser zone and dump chaser zone. So both pump chasers and dump chasers. And you can see how we did kept bounced right into 50% level here. So the dump chasers were able to jump on the short trade. So they've driven the market back down. We just kissed 38.2 here a few times. So there is a bit of buying interest off this level. Nothing really structurally for me to get too bullish about. We've got a big fat M staring us in the face. And I suppose, counter trend rallies back up into reload short zones. Brian's 78.6, big rally up into there would just take us back into all these wicks. And all these guys are sleeping on the couch. They would love to get released. So huge brick wall of resistance up top here. I think at best we're range bound. And of course, I posted this earlier. One of our site members, Cotter, has been saying, I'm sitting on cash and man, it's pissing me off just waiting for prices to come back down. This actually looks to me like if I was going to look at a chart, I'll just give you my 2 cents. I think you're getting an A to B. Maybe I'll do this in teal. C to D. So look at that, Cotter. Right into 4669 there like a boss. That's a cool level. Damn, stone cold. And actually that's also super cool too. Leandros from our El Salvadoran adventure. He loves the candle tails. He says, watch like 50% of that tail range. I could see, candle body lows for trade location. That might be just trying to thread the needle a little too fine. I wouldn't actually be surprised if actually that, 50% of that tail actually becomes your ultimate bottom somewhere. Oh, look at that. Look how that lines up nicely. So my friends, I think we've identified a level here. 4669. You see kind of into the reload zone. So not bad there. Candle body lows for trade location. Nice little wick. Excuse me, tail. And of course, that's the last market structure bottom. Institutional fingerprints where the bar that made the low press the preceding bar is all off of that mountain man level. So I actually like, also too, market structure trend line. There's a lot of reasons to really like this level in here, folks. So there you go. Merry Fishmas. And there's Cotter's happy zone. So there's your status of crypto. And probably what I would suggest is, I suppose you could probably watch Dog Money. Dog Money has this is a daily chart. Everybody should look at this and go, oh my goodness. This is a little concerning. Interesting how that 2.618 lines up nicely with this old breakout level. Actually, there's a few, eh? That's probably the reload zone right down in there. Then you could also do a fog and bomb off of this high. And if anything, it would make sense that Alan's crypto, I think Alan honestly is a robot. So it would, just kidding. But it wouldn't surprise me that Doge actually has to obey the laws of algorithms even more than everything else. Because it's programmed. Look at that, 877. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Let's see what happens when you do that. Look at that one, even better. Ay caramba. And if anything, this is a great analogy that this move here was actually the trap. This is a bit of a shame, eh? Capitalism, gotta love it. And I might argue that oh goodness, oh goodness, look at that. That's crazy. That can't be by accident. Be interesting to see where Alan actually values this thing. I don't think he'd use Tether. I mean, if anything, that's, we haven't had tether FUD in forever. A good deal of tether FUD is long overdue, I think, in this space. So I don't know whether that 4669 was hit on other exchanges and other US dollar proxies, but wow, that's pretty darn impressive. I think we are going to 54K first. What happened? Douche. Ah, look at that. There was no bullishness here at all. So, because we corrected more than 66, see you later, bullish bot. Interesting how, what a great analogy had you just left your stop at scratch on this and not got sucked into all this potential bullishness. Whoop. You saved yourself a huge headache. Oh, look at that. I didn't even see that. Mind you, would that, I guess that would still be valid because that low was never taken out there, right? I get the distinct impression we're just drifting here. Look how they wash this high for liquidity. They wash this low for liquidity. I guess also this low. Wouldn't be surprised if they take out this low. And here we are back at that trend line. Also, what a great analogy. Where was the W on the other side of this trend line? Just never came in. All right. Feels like the market's got a lack of buyers here, right? I hate to say it, I think this sort of speaks to this whole idea that I had previously of us just not doing a hell of a lot here. Actually, this wouldn't be a bad level for all you sharpshooters. Come in, Great Del Moody. This might be a level you might be interested in. What do you think the odds are? That's like an 88.6 if you were a bull. Start actually maybe even watching for a bullish fractal in here. I wouldn't fault you if you said, well, I'm going to take a long shot here. It's not something I would entertain. But it looks like this is a higher time frame, 78.6. I don't draw these green boxes here for nothing. So let's see where that is. There it is there, 78.6. I guess this higher time frame bot's still trying to work away. And interesting how we have this lower time frame bot just banging away. So fighting. Lower highs and lower lows defines a bear. We could probably do like a Foggenbaum off of that range. So that paints 2.618. Oh, interesting. That's the 127 level. That's interesting. Because remember we had said that this up move here broke this bearish structure. This M that came in. It was broken here. So does that bring in that ICT guy setup? And if that's the case, then you want to hunt this 61.8 level like a fox. Let's keep an eye out for that level. And now this M top is suggesting I think we go beyond the bot target objective. 2.618, it would basically be a kiss of this trend line from the other side. I like that. And also interesting, 1.618 lines up with your 0.618. I don't know whether it'll set up a bot. We might just, have to swim down in here for a bit, which would probably take the bot off the table. But it might set up a really nice reload zone trade. I could see that. So, are you a bull? If you are, then you're hunting lower time frame long setups down in here. I think we've got bearish structure to kind of suggest that maybe isn't the best idea. I suppose we draw that off at that level. Maybe if we started to W out like we had previously drawn, then that higher time frame bot will actually start to come together. So we've got one low, two lows. Can we get a third low, maybe on the other side of this trend line, and some sort of W to set up that long? I think this is gonna probably, and this is now off the half-hour chart. If this does develop, I think it's probably going to take probably a good, 4 or 5 hours to form up. So there you go. Well, I guess your big hurry up and do nothing off the Halvening event. I hate to say it. This is kind of what we were thinking. Do I still have that chart around? Was it this chart? I guess that's that bot there. This higher time frame one. Why don't I? Yeah. No, okay, well that's that chart. So the short is actually still just working away, doing absolutely nothing. And if anything, I kind of like how we're consolidating here and setting up objectives up top here, which would mean that the short wouldn't be in trouble. We might pop up top here, but gonna need a bit of work. Yeah. But where is, this chart? I think we now go into our quiet period. And I could see us lift here, maybe even take out these highs, come back to this trend line. I could very easily see that. And then drift, and then one more dump. And that same time reference is there to there, there to there. So 17 days from the actual Halvening, somewhere around here. And then I think I even did that. Yeah, there's my birthday. Usually Bitcoin likes to dump into my birthday, and that sort of corresponds with this kind of thinking. So, still short. Stops at scratch. No reason to change that. Might have lower time frame setups come in here. But, well, yeah, I think I'd leave it at that. Could have lower time frame setups come in here. And if you wanted to trade them, I wouldn't fault you. Reload zones are reload zones. Counter trend rallies back up to the top end of the range. Either are going to stop out existing short setups off of these highs, or we're going to stall out somewhere just below there. That's my hunch. So. All right. I suppose we could, if you feel like it, we could take a question or two, but I don't see a lot of sort of participation over there on YouTube. I'll wait for a higher time frame price action. My hunch is when the big traders come back on Monday, that will set the point Halvening tenor for Bitcoin. Okay, so if Bitcoin drifts through the weekend, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah. Wouldn't even be surprised if, that defines the top end of our range, kind of like what I think I did off of this chart, right? I wouldn't be surprised if, in fact, I would be surprised if we actually trade materially beyond this range here through the weekend. We're probably going to, test both ends of this range. Okay, why don't we leave it at that? I had a lot of fun doing that. Hope you guys enjoyed that, got some value out of it. Thanks for everybody's participation. Have a great night and a great weekend. And I'll talk to you all later. Bye for now.